Hello and welcome to your favorite show, Identities, Umhlobo, where we talk about important things in our lives, the social, the economic, and the political. We are in the month of October, where we are commemorating International Day of the Girl Child. In the studio today, I'm joined by Dr. Rozaria Gumbonjanda. She is also the African Union Goodwill Ambassador for Ending Child Marriages, as well as a CEO of Rozaria Memorial Trust, which is based in Murewa. Vakoma, I call you. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me at a crucial month for girls. You know how much I am very passionate about issues of girls and young women.
And I just want to say it's so beautiful to see you so beautiful. You're looking so beautiful today. It makes me love being an African woman. It makes me love to do the work that I do. And I want to say that you're one of the leaders that I look up to, one of the women that you have served the world, literally. I need to brag a moment. You have served the world. You've served the United Nations Women. You've been at the helm of that. You've served. It was UNIFEM in Zimbabwe, right? And then you've served. Now you're serving in Africa, over and above your own NGO, and you have been the Secretary General of the
World Young Women's Christian Association.
Yes, exactly, where you served for many years. So you serve as a role model for young women, and you've been pushing for girls and young women's rights and women's rights. What makes you do what you do?
The feeling is mutual. What makes me be passionate is also to see that we have an extraordinary range of young African women, and girls who are daring to reshape the narrative of the continent, and you are one of them. I remember when we were just starting Tally, and when we started Identities, and being daring to be, and for me that keeps me going, to know that the African girls are much more than the statistic of poverty, the statistic of exclusion, of suffering. It's also about how do we unleash the potential, the greatest potential that resides in the many girls. I grew up in the village. I was born in the village. I came to Harare when I was an old girl with big breasts, as we always talk.
The bus.
So yeah, I think it's really saying there's more to who we are than what has been said to be who we are. And so this month of October, when we celebrate the girl child, for me that's what gets me exciting, that inspires me every day, is to be able to say the world, women hold more than half the sky, but they were girls before they were women. And therefore, how do we ensure that they are healthy, they are educated, they are empowered, the best within each one of them is made to be? And that's what drives me every day, just working with the girls and knowing that we then grow up to be the women whom we want to be and whom we are supposed to be.
Wow. And I am just reminded of Tererai Trent, who recently, whose statue was erected, right? In New York recently. She's one of the few women who was honored. And I'm also just reminded of the wonderful work that you're doing in Murewa, where you recently established Nanga, a center for girls. So well done for that.
Thank you.
I was still waiting for my invitation to
I think one of the things that we have learned is that in our culture, we never waited for invitation to visit your own.
I know.
I mean, so as a concept, I mean, both for the Rozaria Memorial Trust Center and our Nanga, we are reclaiming the innovations of our culture, that we always had safe spaces which were intergenerational in nature, where we didn't have to wait to be invited. You would come in, you'd enter, you'd have conversations, one would be mentored or would mentor, or you just come to cry when it hurts, or you come to celebrate and dance. You know, we always have these wide African skies with the moonlight, and we can dance to Jerusalem or Jiti or Mbende, whatever we call it. But for me, the essence is how we need to continue to say the African girls had institutions. We need to bring new content, new meaning, new understanding, so that we can even have the comprehensive sexuality education Munanga. You can talk about.
So what is Nanga? In case people are hearing and just wondering what they're talking about. What is the Nanga concept?
Nanga is in the Shona culture, and I think it's the same in many other African traditional cultures. The girls always had their hut, where they sleep, where they live, their little house. It was little in terms of architecture, but it was big in terms of the content and what came out of it. And for us, this Nanga, we are recreating it. We recreated it both physically in terms of our structures at home, but also in the various development spaces that we have, whether it's a meeting at the AU or at the United Nations, because we want to say the spaces where girls experience life is the first primary space for learning.
Yes.
And that's where we have to promote values
as well.
And our identities as well. And to come out of the Nanga, you walk tall and proud, feeling confident that I have a name, I have a community around me, I have mentors and educators around me, but I'm also expected to be a somebody who can also be contributing to other girls, to other communities. So for us, it's more than a physical space. It's a spiritual space. It's a spiritual space where we can come to be who we truly are, without censorship. You know, Munanga, girls, we can stretch naked and talk to each other about periods, menopause, about the first pregnancy. We can also come there to talk about to know how to knit. Skills for life, skills for livelihoods, and that's where we learn how to do. You know how to boil lentils. You can be told how you process food and what foods to eat when. So it's a multi-space, which when we go into the kitchen then, when we go into the kitchen, we already have the tips. When we go into the public space with other adults, we already have the skills. It's also a space for hard conversation, of naming the men abusing girls in the village.
On that note, I want to come back to you when we come from the break, and I really want us to then delve deeper into, you probably watched our previous episode where girls were talking about their issues. Do not go away, citizens. We want to hear from Dr. Nyaradzai more about the issues that girls talk about in the Nanga, but also really looking at the national issues that are affecting girls. Do not go away, stay with us.